Hey there, Variety here. Welcome to today's video in which we're going to be doing a raid guide for the third raid for Tarisland Season 1. The raid that we're going to be looking at today is going to be the Council of the Resurrected, which includes 4 different bosses that you have to fight at once, which makes it pretty interesting. A problem I ran into is that due to there being 4 bosses, their abilities don't always activate in the same order. So, for example, if I show you a video, it may not activate a boss ability, but when you go in there, it may activate a boss ability. So, while I've done the best I can to write out as much as I can, I'm going to show you a few key abilities that you really need to look out for because they can kind of come up at random times. So, the first thing we're going to look at is poison, okay? So the poison is going to come from the assassin and it's going to be linked up with the healer. So what's going to happen is the assassin's going to use AoE poison, which is going to poison everybody, and the healer is going to put like a yellow circle around somebody. The person with the yellow circle, as you can see here, which is me, you need to run over to the purple circle, well, near it, the poison circle, and turn it yellow. When you turn it yellow, people can go into it and get rid of their poison. So this way, everybody doesn't get AoE poisoned and die. Just after this clip here, people don't go and stand in it, and they all die because they don't get rid of their poison stack. So it's really important that you get rid of them. The next thing I want to talk about is Black Hole. So this one is actually really important because what it shows you is that bosses that are within the shield, so that they're invulnerable and not a part of the fight, they can still cast abilities. So as much as I write out, I can't tell you what all the bosses can do at any random time. So right now, the second ability I want to draw your attention to is Black Hole. So it's going to combine the mage and the healer, and they're going to summon a black hole in the middle of the room. What it's going to do is it's going to reduce your healing by 99%. So what you need to do is you need to heal the void portal, kind of like you do the heart in Arch Druid, to get rid of it as soon as possible. The third ability that I really want to shout out because they can come out at different times is the Shadow Halo. So this can be casted by the healer and it does massive damage and it heals the bosses by a massive amount. So you need to make sure that whatever you're doing, there's always one tank standing on the healer whenever she's up to make sure she doesn't use Shadow Halo. I've had fights in where she only does it once, but I've also had fights where she tried doing it like 3 or 4 times. So you really need to pay attention to these 3 abilities, otherwise they can wipe your raid. Okay, so let's get into the raid itself and have a look at the rest of the abilities. The first 2 bosses are pretty straightforward. You want 1 tank on the healer, 1 tank on the warrior. You want to get on the warrior and you want to pull the warrior close to the priest. That way you can DPS them both at the same time. Even though you're looking to DPS them both down at the same time, just keep in mind that the healer is definitely the priority here. Because the healer will summon these little healing things, which are going to drop on the ground that you need to kill ASAP. And she may do a full heal that you need to interrupt. So you want to make sure that she goes down first. So she's going to summon the fountain here. Basically, just find the fountain and kill it ASAP. If you don't, you're in trouble. Kill the fountain, back to the healer, make sure the healer dies, and then kill the warrior, which will open up the next section of the fight. Right now, we're about to head into the mage and the assassin. So what you want to do is you want to tank the mage and then just burn the assassin. The assassin will do different abilities, like it'll poison 2 people, which you need to dispel, or it'll do the AoE poison, which I talked about earlier, which you need to put the holy light on to get rid of. And the mage is going to use a couple of abilities, which I've described over on the right on the tank, which you'll know into damage reduction when he does the purple beam, and you want a tank swap. It's pretty straightforward. The assassin's just going to run around. You don't actually need to tank her. So take down the assassin as fast as possible, then take on the mage and basically just dodge his abilities until this phase is over. Okay, so the warrior and the assassin's gonna come out at the same time. It's basically the same abilities as before, but you want to make sure that you bring down the assassin as fast as possible so she doesn't do that AoE poison. Meanwhile, tank swapping the warrior whenever it is you need to. Be aware that the other bosses can cast while they're inside their shields, so you need to look out for things like the void in the middle of the floor. There's basically Phantom Assault, basically, you know, spread out. Don't all get hit by the poison. Take down. It's really important here that you try to lower the warrior's HP a little bit lower, because as you saw, now we have 3 on us at the same time. Okay, so now we have 3 at the same time. The warrior, you need to tank swap. The mage, you kind of need to tank swap, but I'm tanky enough to here to just kind of AoE taunt them. The biggest and highest priority here is to knock down the warrior and to make sure that the tank is on the priest. Because the priest can use this very brutal ability, which is called, I believe it's called Shadow Halo. I'm sorry for the audio bug here. So you need to make sure that you interrupt Shadow Halo right now. Otherwise, it's going to do massive damage and it's going to heal the bosses. So just taunt the mage on you and focus heavily priority on the priest. Unfortunately, I can't control my Chinese teammates, so I can't talk to them. So they take down the mage first, but that's okay. Just keep interrupting the healer until the end of the fight and you'll be okay. Congratulations on beating your 3rd boss in Tarisland Season 1.